Wow, this is an interesting one. Today, we have all over 900 pages of the just released court documents. We're going to go through some of these transcripts. These are all part of discovery in the case of, well, basically the, it's supposed to be a case against Jeffrey Epstein, but, you know, he committed suicide in jail. So now it's really against Maxwell. This is, well, let's just say there are a lot of allegations in here that are really entertaining and quite interesting. So what I thought is, hey, let's just start going through one of them. The first thing that we're going to go through is we're going to go through a deposition of a woman named Joanna, definitely going to mess up her last name, Sjoberg, something like that, S-J-O Berg. Anyway, she's one of the many women claiming that Jeffrey Epstein abused her. And essentially, she argues that when she was a young college student, so usually in college you're between 18 to 24, but a lot of this, a lot of the allegations in here are going to be around women potentially being as young as 17, 16, maybe even younger. Anyway, when she was a young college student in 1999, she argues she was approached by some of the associates of Jeffrey Epstein, as well as GMAX. I shortened it to that. Anyway, she was offered a job as like a secretary to answer phones, and that only lasted basically about a day, and then she was asked to essentially have sex with Epstein and Prince Andrew. And these are some of the allegations that started some of the lawsuits that have been going on for years. But now we have a released deposition, as well as many other documents in here. So let's go through some of this. So here, for example, is the deposition of Joanna. This deposition was taken on Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And a deposition is basically at 9 a.m. here, looks like, in 2016. This document is 8 years old, this deposition. So the allegations in here, it's worth noting, they happened basically before Donald Trump was even president, which is really interesting just to think about the timing of it. But anyway, all right, so let's go through some of the deposition. So we're on record. Time is now 9:04. Deposition is being taken. Great, fantastic. Okay, so we get through some introductions here, and we're going to start getting into some interesting things here. This is also a video deposition, but we're just looking at the transcript of this before. They start with some basics. Have you ever been deposed before? This is really just trying to get somebody comfortable before really starting to get into some of the juice of the matter, like when we start hearing things about, you know, Donald Trump or Prince Andrew or Epstein or whatever. So they get some of the basis out of the way. This goes on for quite a bit. But anyway, this is where it starts. I don't recall if I met Giuffre at that time or next time. This is sort of when they first got introduced, got met, shown around. What do you recall of your first meeting with Jeffrey Epstein? So your first time seeing Jeffrey Epstein ever. This is all like, it's almost like a movie script. I remember him being in a bathrobe. I recall talking to him about how I was a major in psychology and how he had studied psychology. This is kind of where things, that was our first introduction, is there's Jeffrey in a bathrobe. Okay, perfect. So I remember at one point answering the phones and taking messages. That was the guise. That's how she was supposed to, that was basically supposed to be her job. And so things get juicy when she starts talking about how things evolve into sexual encounters. So we're gonna go a few pages further. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into this. At that point, so later, I met Emmy Taylor, and she took me up to Jeffrey's bathroom, and he was present. And her and I both massaged Jeffrey. She was showing me how to massage. And then he got off the table, and she got on the table. She took off her clothes, got on the table, and then he was showing me moves that he liked. Then I took my clothes off. They asked me to get on the table so I could feel it, and they both massaged me. So it was more than a foot massage at that point, one of the attorneys asked. Yeah, it was mostly like legs and back at that point. Was everybody in the room without clothes on? When they were on the massage table, yes. Okay, and then when they got off, they dressed. Fine. Okay, so all of a sudden we go from a job of taking messages and phone calls to, by the way, here's how we like our naked massages on this massage table. And the first time he ever saw Jeffrey Epstein, he just happens to be walking around a bathroom. Okay, interesting. Did Maxwell ever refer to Emmy by any particular term? Ooh, interesting. They called her slave. You said your job duties changed. Did you start to travel as part of your job with Jeffrey and Maxwell? Yes. The next time they called me, they asked me to go to New York, and you did. It was Easter of 2001. So that would have been right before 9/11. Let's get past this page here. Move with the iPad here. Okay. So they then show her some pages, some documents, some flight logs, and they ask her to review and attest what these flight logs are. Nothing super exciting here, so we're going to pass this. Do you recall where you flew because we're about to get into Trump here. Do you recall where you flew when you traveled that first time with Jeffrey Epstein? We left from Palm Beach and landed in Atlantic City for a few hours because there was a storm in New York, and then got back on the plane a few hours later and landed in Teterboro. Teterboro, not only is it famous for sort of Miracle on the Hudson, in other words, the airport they tried diverting to, it's basically an executive airport. I don't know that there are actually non-executive flights that go there. I don't think so. I think it's almost exclusively just an executive airport. It's like 30 minutes outside of Central Park, Manhattan. Anyway, and you said that you recall landing at Atlantic City. Did you go to Atlantic City? Yes. We went to one of Trump's casinos. Did you actually go into the casino? Yes. Do you recall Virginia Roberts being present with you? Yes. Do you recall if she went into casino? She was underage. Which is this kind of like how you set up the whole cases here. It's like, oh, what are underage children doing around him? But then again, there's underage for gambling and then otherwise. Okay, let's keep it. I do not know anything about how old you had to be to gamble legally. I just knew she could not get in because of an ID issue. She and I did not gamble. Okay, fine. So we start going back and forth here a little bit about Virginia. Let's get into some more of these documents. You remember going to Atlantic City once we landed in New York. Emmy and I went to a car, drove around the city for an hour or so. Fine, boring. Okay, so then we end up in a townhouse at East 71st between Madison and Park. Who owned that home? As far as I know, Epstein. And can you describe it? It looked palatial. When you walked up, it looked like a normal door to a townhouse. But when you walked in, it looked like there were 4 floors. So in other words, a lot of money here. Extravagant lifestyle. Private planes 20 years ago. What's this? When I first walked into the door, it was just myself and Maxwell headed for the staircase and told me to come up to the living room. I came up and saw Virginia, Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, and Maxwell in the room. Did you meet Prince Andrew at that time? The answer here, yes. What happened next? At one point, Maxwell told me to come upstairs, and we went into a closet and pulled out the puppet, the caricature of Prince Andrew, and brought it down. And there was a little tag on the puppet that said Prince Andrew on it. And that's when I knew who he was. And what did the puppet look like? It looked like him, she says. And she brought it down and presented it to him. And that was a great joke because apparently it was a production from a show on BBC. They decided to take a picture with it in which Virginia and Andrew sat on a couch. They put the puppet on Virginia's lap and I sat on Andrew's lap. This is bizarre. It's like, yes, I'll sit on Andrew's lap just to take a photo with him, even though we just met the guy. Let's get to sitting on his lap. This is just weird so far. Okay, we'll keep going because there are a lot of names in this. But I want to go through this story a little bit longer first so we get through some of these details. So Andrew put his hand on my breast and they took the photo. Do you recall who took the photo? Don't remember. Okay, fine. So just interesting because Jeffrey, or what's his name? Prince Andrew has been asked in interviews before, oh, have you ever seen any minor girls there? And his replies have always been, no, and you know what? If there were, I certainly wouldn't have known or whatever. So I'm going to I'll find I have a video handy here of Prince Andrew saying exactly that. And I think it's relevant to bring up. So we'll have that in just a moment. But kind of odd just how quickly this, oh yeah, here it is. This stuff evolves. And this is just scratching the surface too. Let's listen in here. Come on. Okay, need volume. Stand by for volume. Kevin, what's going on with the volume? Okay, oh yeah, that'll help. You gotta turn the volume on for it to work.
They saw many young girls coming and going at the time. There is video footage of Epstein accompanied by young girls. And you were there staying in his house, catching up with friends.
I mean, if they were, then I wasn't a party to any of that. I never saw them.
Whoops. Yeah, this gets we uncover this a wee bit later, but I'm setting up where we start with her first introduction to Prince Andrew when she was in college was the dude apparently putting his hand on her breast, and this then evolves pretty quickly in some of these documents. As you can see on screen here, please name the person that Maxwell directed you to go have sex with. Prince Andrew. Let's jump to that. Let's find. I want to see which deposition that is. Prince Andrew. So we are right now on. Let's see here. We left off. Just so you know, in case you're following along. By the way, you can go to eHack and you could see the documents as well. We just left off on page 188, so we'll come back to 188. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to just jump over to where this section is. Ah, there it is. Found it. Okay, so this is going to be page 321. 321 has what we see on screen. And I'm taking a peek. It looks like this is all the same deposition. Yes, it is exactly the same deposition that we've been on. So we're just jumping a little out of order. So between the last page where we first meet Prince Andrew for a boob grab, it later evolves into, do you have any knowledge about whether Virginia Roberts is telling the truth about whether Maxwell directed her to have sex with Prince Andrew? Remember, Virginia was the younger one. And the witness in this case, now this is interesting because it kind of softens it, says no, only based on what I read in the media. So not getting a smoking gun here out of her. Let's see what happens to her though, because this is talking about the other person. Maxwell told you to give a massage to Prince Andrew, correct? So now we're on page 184, and she was asked to go give a massage to Glenn Dublin, and told you to give a massage to a redacted name, and told you to give a massage to Prince Andrew, correct? Now, what's interesting is look at the definition right here, okay? Ready? So she says here, the respondent, okay, and when they say massage, that means erotic, okay? That's their term for it. I think there are plenty of other witnesses that can attest to what a massage actually means. And I'm telling you that Maxwell told me to go to Glenn Dublin and give him a massage, which means sex. And she was asked to give a massage to Prince Andrew, Bill Richardson. We have a redacted name here. Let's look up some of these. Let's try Bill Richardson, who shows up in this. I don't know if this is... We have to be careful that we don't, accidentally screw up somebody's name here. But it looks like Bill Richardson, this is the former governor of New Mexico. And I'm cross-referencing here that, Governor Bill Richardson and former Senator George Mitchell, among others, were basically instructed by Maxwell. Well, the girls were instructed by Maxwell to have sex with them. So it sounds like, even just this little bit of the surface we're scratching so far, it sounds like girls in college or younger were hired to set up phone calls and take messages, and then Now we're going to teach you how to give massages on the massage table. We're going to put you on the massage table so you know how it feels and you do it right. And then it turns into, oh, by the way, this is actually going to turn into full-on sex and we're going to pay you for it. Oh, by the way, can you go give a massage to Prince Edward or Andrew? Can you go give a massage to the former, I'm going to write this down here, former governor of New Mexico. So this would have been... now, this was around 01. So Bill Richardson at the time would have been about 54 years old. And he actually died recently, Bill Richardson. Let's see here. I want to see. Yeah, he was 75 when he died. Okay, so... just died September 2023, and was about 51 when this occurred. Okay? When did Maxwell tell you to give a massage to Bill Richardson? I don't know the dates. Where were you? Where did it happen? When Maxwell used the words, go give a massage to Bill Richardson, where were you? I can't tell you where we were. I know where I was sent to. I don't know where we were when she told me to do it. Where were you sent to? New Mexico. Wow. No way. So they would ship the girls around in private jets to go have sex with people. Whoa. Well, that's it. Because she was like, in the earlier part of the testimony, she's like, flying into Teterboro. So it's like, getting shipped to New Mexico to give a massage. Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. Jeez. I'm not asking you to answer. Well, I was sent to New Mexico. Where were you sent from? I don't know. I was flying everywhere with these people. No way. I was flying everywhere with these people. Where were you sent by Maxwell to have sex with Jean-Luc Brunel? Jean-Luc Brunel, another person who has since died. How were all these freaking people dying? Jeez Lord. Oh! No way! What? No. No. Okay. I'm just reading this off of Google right now, okay? I'm just reading this off Google. Brunel was found dead in his jail cell. Okay? You ready for this? Brunel was found dead in his jail cell in La Santé prison after, you ready for this? Let's write this down. After allegedly hanging himself. He had attempted suicide several times before his death. That's the argument from the internet, from Googs. Whoa. So who is this guy? No frickin' way. So this guy, oh, what? He was a French model scout. Jean-Luc Brunel ran out of Luc. Led modeling agency Karen Models. Karen Models. It's actually spelled, it's probably pronounced like Karine. Karin, but it totally looks like Karen Models. With financing from Jeffrey Epstein. No way. Whoa. Died from apparent suicide before his trial could proceed. Brunel was accused of grooming young females and of partaking in the alleged sex trafficking ring run by Epstein. He went into hiding following Epstein's death, was arrested in 2020, charged with rape of minors, died from apparent suicide before his trial. Oh my gosh. This is crazy stuff. Okay, all right. So, all right, so many places. Maxwell sent you to many places to have sex with Jean-Luc Brunel. It happened at many places, yes. You had sex with Jean-Luc Brunel at many places is what you're saying, right? I was sent to Jean-Luc Brunel at many places to have sex with him. They do this, by the way, they ask these questions in multiple different ways to get a very clear answer so somebody doesn't happen to change their mind in the future. And that's why these are videotaped, and then you have a stenographer who's writing all this stuff down too. When did Maxwell send you to a place to have sex with Jean-Jacques Brunel? You're asking from me to answer the impossible. All right, when did Maxwell send you to have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain? Object to the form. I'm going to keep okay. I don't know. Where were you sent to have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain? What hotel chain? I believe it was one time in France. I believe it was around the same time that Naomi Campbell had a birthday party. Where did you have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain in France around the time of the birthday party? In his cabana townhouse thing. It was part of a hotel, but I wouldn't call it a hotel. Giuffre was staying there. Maxwell was staying there. Emmy was staying there. I was staying there. This other guy was staying there. I don't know his name. I was instructed by Maxwell to go give him an erotic massage. She used the words erotic massage? No, that's my word. The word massage is what they would use. That's their code word. Was she in the room when you gave this massage to the owner of the large hotel chain? No, she was not in the room. She was in another cabana. And other than telling you to give the owner of the large hotel chain a massage, do you remember any words she used to direct you in what you should do? Not at the time, no. Let's see here. Where did you go? Okay, to have sex with Marvin Minsky. Marvin Minsky. American computer science. Another person who's dead. Okay, so American cognitive computer scientist. Well, he died at 88. This is, let's see here. Association with Minsky received a $100,000 research grant from Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. Okay, let's write that down. Received $100K research grant from Epstein, apparently. So let's write that down. Computer scientist. And let's see here. Yeah, it's some academic research grant. Okay, anyway, so this is a computer scientist. I believe it was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Oh, yeah, and then who's the Glenn Dubin guy? Let's figure that out. Glenn Dubin. I'm not so good with all these names. Who's this? This is some investor. Okay, this guy's still alive. An American billionaire hedge fund manager. Dubin equals billionaire hedge fund manager. Okay, interesting. Other than Dubin, and then a redacted name here. I wish we had that name. Prince Andrew, Jean-Luc Brunel, Richardson, another prince. Another prince? Which prince? The large hotel chain owner and Marvin Minsky. Is there anyone else Maxwell directed you to have sex with? I'm definitely sure there is, but I cannot remember everybody's name. I'm definitely sure there are more people. Wow. Look, I've given what you want to know now. This is very hard for me and frustrating to go over this. Do you have any notes? I burned them in a bonfire. Are you serious? Where are your notes? I burned them in a bonfire. I was sick of going through this. Wow. Well, I mean, I don't blame her. My husband and I are pretty spiritual people. Boy, that's got to be... It's got to be tough to have been part of this. You started writing this journal approximately a decade after you claimed you finished being sexually assaulted or trafficked, correct? Yes. You started writing your journal after you had a lawyer, correct? Yes. So after she had a lawyer, she made a journal and then decided to burn it. Okay, that's weird. No, I wrote about the... Let's see. Did you tear pages out and give them to Sharon Churcher? Sharon Churcher. Who's this? So, journalist Sharon Churcher was subpoenaed as part of the testimony for the defamation suit related to litigation around the accusations of sex trafficking. Okay, got it. So this, I'm going to write down, is a journalist. Those pages I wrote for her specifically. She wanted to know about the Prince Andrew incident. So that's different. Yeah, that's just a random piece of paper. Okay, got it. Any other documents? Let's see here. Where's the original of the photograph that is widely circulated in the press of you with Prince Andrew? I probably still have it. It's not in my possession right now. Probably in some storage boxes. Where? In Sydney. Boy, she flew all around the world. She got shipped all around the world to have sex with powerful, rich people. I can't say 100% sure I have it. Okay, fine, whatever. This gets a little boring. Okay, wow, this is pretty wild. Okay, so that's the end of her deposition. Let's look at some more names because there are quite a few of them. So apparently Stephen Hawking comes up in this. Okay. So, yep, here we go. Okay. I have 2 mentions of Stephen Hawking. One of them shows mentions of photos. Okay, this is weird. This looks like an email here, which we obviously we don't know. I mean, it looks like a scanned document, and then it's been, died. Oh, God. No kidding. When did he die? 2018. Everybody just died after Epstein disappeared. Killed himself. When and why did he die? Hawking feared Donald Trump. Interesting. Death. Died at his home. Died peacefully. Interesting. Okay. Hawking died in 2018. What is this? This looks like it's from Giuffre to G-Max. Stupid iPad. There we go. Jeffrey Epstein to G-Max. Hey, if you want to email Jeffrey, G-E-E, so it's Jeffrey E. Was his middle initial E? Because that would make sense. Jeffrey E. Epstein vacation at gmail.com. Jeffrey Epstein. Let's see what his middle name was. Edward. Yep. Jeffrey Edward Epstein. I did not know what his middle name was. Now I know. That's weird. G vacation. Oh. Okay. You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends, acquaintance, and family that come forward to help prove her allegations are false. Oh, so this is back in 2015 trying to fight the allegations. You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends. We got to understand this Virginia girl a little bit more. Because that's the one that the first girl we reviewed the testimony of, saw come into play. She was born in 83. Okay, so let's write this down. Virginia, let's write this correctly here. There we go. Okay, so Virginia, born in 1983. A lot of these things happened in 2000, 2020, or 2001. Oh, how interesting. Her father worked as a maintenance manager at Mar-a-Lago for President Trump and also helped her obtain a job there. Wow. She worked for Mar-a-Lago, where her father was a maintenance worker. Interesting. And apparently she met Maxwell as a spa attendant while reading a book on massage therapy. Are you serious? How a British teen model was lured into Jeffrey Epstein's web. Oh, wow. Okay, here. I'm going to pull that up so you can see the article and you can see pictures. British teen model Jeffrey Epstein web. Yeah, here. Okay. So this is the page. Oh my gosh, go away with the ad. There she is. Look at that. Wait, no, that's not Virginia. Says this is somebody else. This is Anoska. She says she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, well, then I guess I didn't get the right one. Why does Virginia's name come up on this then? Virginia. Giuffre had the sickness, but they worked together as a unit, Virginia said. Who also says she was abused, starting in the late 90s. Oh, so per NBC, Virginia says she was abused starting in the late 90s. So late 90s, she could have been, let's see, she would have been 12. Oh, that's weird. She would have been 12 in 1995. She would have been 15 in 1998. And 16 in 1999. So Virginia was definitely underage. If she worked there, if this happened in the late 90s, which we suspect it did. I was brought in by Maxwell. Okay. Maxwell, bloody. Okay. All right. So I want to see. Let's get Virginia. Are there pictures of her with Epstein? I'm sure there are. Yeah, there are. Yeah. How interesting. Okay, here you go. Look how freaking creepy these are right now. Look at this. Here's Virginia with Prince Andrew and then the Maxwell in the background. It actually looks like Maxwell's doing yep, I set up the massage. Wow, this is crazy. So that's Virginia. And Virginia was expected to be 15 or 16. Huh, very interesting. Okay. All right, so going back over here to these communications. So now we have a little bit more color to catch up, because my goal is to catch everybody up who's not fully familiar with all the stuff that's going on here. So now you have Virginia, who's underage. You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends, acquaintances, family that come forward to help prove her allegations are false. We don't know who the her is. The strongest is the Clinton dinner, the newest version in the Virgin Islands that Stephen Hawking participated in an underage orgy. What? Is that even possible? Stephen Hawking participated in an underage orgy. Okay. All right. Well, that was not what I was expecting to see in this. Let's oh wow. Okay. Wow. Geez. Let me get another item here. So let's look up Clinton, because I know Clinton comes up a lot in these documents. So let's go to the top and let's go for Clinton. Okay. So what is this? So the first document talking about Clinton is from GMAX 2015 to Philip Barden and Ross Go. I'm out of my depth to understand defamation and other legal hazards. I don't want to end up in a lawsuit aimed at me from anyone if I can help it. Apparently even saying Virginia is a liar has hazard. I have never been in a suit, criminal or civil, and I want to stay that way. Well, U.S. lawyers for Jane Doe's are filing additional discovery motions and if I speak, I open myself up to being part of discovery. This is GMAX. Okay, where's the Clinton part? What is my relationship to Clinton, Andrew, and so on? Oh, okay. This is just an email talking, basically acknowledging the relationships, probably because of photos or whatever. Okay, so here's where we get some Clinton stuff as well. Page 137. I always like to know who is saying these things, because I think context is very important and is frequently forgotten on the internet. So that's just the way I like to do things. So it does mean we'll be a little slower. This is from the same deposition from Virginia. So we're still on Virginia's deposition. And wait a sec, but this is a different deposition. So, because remember, the other one was done on Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. This is now being done on Lexington Avenue in New York in 2016. So this is now yet another deposition of Virginia. Okay? I can't recall having a meal with them, but just so we are clear, the allegations that Clinton had a meal on Jeffrey's island is 100% false. Okay? But he may have had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. I'm sure he had a meal on Jeffrey's plane. Okay? How do you know how many times he flew on Jeffrey's plane? I don't. Do you know who Doug Band is? I do. How do you know him? He used to work or still works for Bill Clinton. Okay, who's that? Doug Band. Let's find out. American businessman and lawyer. Okay, served on a Coca-Cola board, served the White House as he was an intern for Bill Clinton's office, it looked like, for a while. And let's see here. Some conflict of interest stuff coming up between Bill Clinton and such. I don't see actually much about him and Epstein here. Okay? You ever had a relationship with him? Are we talking about relationships? Are we talking about adult consensual relationships? It's off the record. We're talking about adult consensual relationships. It's off record. I'm not asking what you did with him. I'm asking if you ever had a relationship with him. Define relationship. Somebody that would want to spend time together. Okay? What do you mean by romantic? Okay, romantic relationship. All right. I was friends with Doug, but you are suggesting something more, so I want to be clear what you're actually asking me. Let's see here. While you were on a trip with President Clinton, do you recall where? These are the lawyers asking. Where you stayed at these locations? In other words, would you leave the jet and stay overnight at a hotel? Do you have any recollection of this? I recall the trip. Okay, fine. What is this? Some confidant. That's fine. Sorry, can't recognize the name. Was Joanna... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me back up a second to clarify. This is Virginia. Oh, this is Virginia. This is the younger one. The last one we did was Joanna. That's right. Joanna was the Fort Lauderdale deposition. This is actually Virginia. I misread that. She's the younger one. She would have been 16 to 17. No, she would have been 15 to 16, right? Yeah. In 1998 to 1999. Okay, sorry. I mixed that up a little bit. So sorry about that. This is actually Virginia. So this is not Joanna, who is talking about like how the massages are basically sexual acts and blah, blah, blah. This is the younger one, which is really important because the younger one is where you get a lot of the, illegal claims from. Okay, so was Joanna a masseuse? What are you asking me? I'm sorry. When Joanna worked for Jeffrey Epstein, did she perform massages? I've testified that when Joanna came originally, she came to answer telephones. That's what Joanna said as well. I believe at some point she became a masseuse. Okay, that's also what we heard over there. Remember, this is Virginia. There's Maxwell, Prince Andrew. Boy, this is crazy. I don't recollect when, and I personally had massages from Joanna. Oh, see, that's what Joanna said as well. Remember, Joanna said, one of them would go up on the massage table, and the girls were basically giving each other massages, and then Jeffrey Epstein's giving massages to show what he wanted, and they're kind of like demonstrating their massage techniques on each other. What did Joanna do for Jeffrey Epstein? Did she perform massages? Anything else? When she came, she answered phones, I believe. I don't have any firm recollection, but I believe she went to school and became a masseuse. And I had massages from her. Did you ever have any sexual interaction with her? Did you ever have any sexual contact with her in the presence of Jeffrey Epstein? Okay, the attorney here is getting really annoying with the interjections here and objections. How many massages did you receive from Joanna? I really don't recall, but a fair amount. Did the massages ever involve sex? Instruct you not to answer. Have you ever engaged in sex with any female? I'm going to instruct you not to answer. My gosh, God, this freaking attorney's annoying. I know they're doing their job. I want the record to reflect that Mrs. Maxwell's attorney is directing her not to answer this series of questions. Okay. So that's interesting. Maxwell's attorney is involved here. In Virginia, so did Maxwell pay for an attorney for Virginia then? Or is Maxwell's attorney there / involved to minimize damage? Okay. Were you responsible for introducing Anuska to Jeffrey Epstein? I already testified. I don't really recall Anuska. Okay, that's the other chick. That's the one we were looking at over here where we got confused at first. Okay, that's this girl. This here is Anuska, who says she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein at homes all around the world. Okay. Somebody here says this is Maxwell. How did we jump to Max? Somebody says this is Maxwell's interview. Is it? Let me see. Did I mess this up? Virginia against plaintiff Maxwell. And this, oh, Kevin. Sorry everyone. Thank you for pointing that out. How did I screw that up twice? Okay. All right, this is Maxwell. I see. Let me adjust this. So Joanna was at Fort Lauderdale. This is Maxwell talks about Virginia. Virginia is the younger one. I see. Now that makes more sense. Okay. All right. Boy, this is complicated to follow. My apologies. But we're going to keep working through it. Okay. So where were we? Okay, so this is Maxwell. And this is a problem. They throw all these freaking documents together here. So it's a lot. Forgive me. We're going to keep working through it. Okay. So Maxwell got massages from Joanna. Got it. Okay, but Joanna, we believe, was of age. Fair amount. Okay, all right. So now it also, again, it makes sense regarding the attorney part here. So this is Maxwell's attorney. There we go. Now it makes sense. Good. Okay. So again, I don't know, like the characterization. Joanna came to answer telephones, but then became a masseuse. Fine. Composite exhibit. Okay. That's that. This is, what do we have here? This is more. What is this? Okay. Okay, this is additional Maxwell deposition. Let me get to some juice here on Clinton first. Okay. Let's move around here a little bit. Joanna testified that Jeffrey told her Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Okay, where is that? Here it is. So let's see who said that. That's on page 206. Oh, this is Andrew's lap. Okay, this looks like it was probably Joanna's then. So here, confirming we're on the right thing. Yep, it's the case of Virginia versus Maxwell. Okay, so we got that. Let's make sure we do this right. May 2016, deposition of Joanna in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so we're back in the Fort Lauderdale case. And now we're going to go to page 207 of the 943-page docket. And this is linked at ehack.com. So if you want the documents yourself to follow along, go to ehack.com. It's like the first one there. Okay, boy. He said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Okay, wait a minute. This is a lot. Let's scroll back here because we also don't know how young. How did we even get to that? So this is Joanna. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, hold on here. Magic tricks. David Copperfield. Okay. All right. Wait, what? Okay, he's in here as well. No way. How old is he now? Let me see. So, an American magician. He was born in 56. He's now 67 years old. He manages his chain of 11 resort islands in the Bahamas. Copperfield Bay. Wow, that's kind of cool. Sexual assault allegations. Copperfield was accused of sexual assault in 2007. But an investigation was closed without charges. In 2010, the Bellevue City Prosecutor's Office brought misdemeanor charges against Carroll for prostitution and false rape allegations against Copperfield. Wow. But then in 2018, Copperfield was accused of drugging and assaulting a teenager in 1988. Good Lord. A lot of accusations here. Okay, so anyway, so we got magician born in 1956. So let's spell that right. Okay. You recall when you originally met him. To be clear, this was Joanna. Okay. Sure, someone called me from the house and said he would be there, and if I wanted to come have dinner, I could meet him. So when I arrived at the house, he wasn't there yet, but I waited with, I believe, Sarah Kellen. There was another girl there, which I never met and had never seen. She seemed young to me. Oh, no. Another girl seemed young. Okay, so who's Sarah Kellen? Boy, this never ends. Sarah Kellen. Massage scheduler. What? What? How old is she? Let's see how old she is now. So she's 39, born in 1980. Okay, so Sarah Kellen was the scheduler, born in 1980. So she basically, in 2001, would be about 21 years old. Okay, so also, yeah, all right, okay. And I asked her what school she went to, kind of prodding to see if she went to one of the area colleges, and I did not recognize the name of the school, and so I thought she could be younger than college age, but I had to assume for my own sanity that she was the daughter of one of his friends. Who are we talking about here? When I asked her what school she went to, this was the other girl, and there was another girl, which I had never met and never seen. Okay, so we're talking about the other girl. Okay, so other girl seemed young. Other girl seemed young. Got it. Okay, so don't know who that is. But it was possible the school referred to high school. Yes. Okay, well, high school could mean 18, but also could be 14 to 17, right? High school. Maybe a chance of 19, but yeah, anyway. And what happened at that dinner, if anything? David Copperfield did some magic tricks. Did you observe Copperfield to be a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. Did Copperfield ever discuss Jeffrey's involvement with young girls with you? He questioned me if I was aware that girls were getting paid to find other girls. Did he tell you any of the specifics of that? No. Did he say whether they were teenagers? He did not. Did you ever hear Jeffrey Epstein talking about Frederick Fekkai? Who the heck that? French hairstylist. Oh, back to the French. Okay. So, this dude... alleging Epstein attempted to look for girls that met him at a time he was in Hawaii. Likely that he and Epstein were acquaintances. Okay, so not much information here. I heard him call someone. Can we find some girls for him? And say, Fekkai is in Hawaii. Can we find some girls for him? That's Jeffrey's. Okay, that's the allegation. Well, I was massaging and I didn't have a reaction. I tried to remain reactionless the whole 5 years. Wow. Did Jeffrey ever take you shopping? Yes. Can you describe what happened? Sure. He took me to Victoria's Secret. I believe he picked out everything and went into the room with me, the fitting room, which was very odd. Yes. Did he make any comments about being in that fitting room with you? He joked that one time he was in there with another girl, and she said something like "dad," but that's all I recall. Oh, this is weird. This is so weird. Okay, did Giuffre ever talk to you, or... Well, let me back up a moment. Have you ever been prepositioned by anyone to have a baby for someone? Yes. Who prepositioned you? Giuffre asked me. Did he ask you more than once? Yes. I want you to be the mother of my baby. Oh, wow. Okay. Did you ever bring other girls over as Maxwell had requested? One time. Okay. All right. So, oh, here's the Bill Clinton. Okay, yeah. This is what we're leading to. Do you ever bring friends over to massage Giuffre? No. And why did you not bring friends over? I was living in secret about what I was doing during the massages, and I did not want my friends to know what I was doing. Was Bill Clinton a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Do you know if Bill Clinton was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? I knew he had dealings with Bill Clinton. I did not know they were friends until I read about it in the news, basically. Did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Bill Clinton? He said one time that Bill Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Well, obviously the question here is, how young? Wow, weird. Okay. Do you ever recall taking a trip to Jeffrey Epstein's home in New Mexico? Yes. Do you recall what went on that trip? Sarah Kellen was there. She's the booker to perform massages. Yes. Remember, massages are sex. Would you provide these massages naked? On occasion. On average, would you be naked? Somewhere between 25 to 50% of the time. Did Epstein try to make the massages sexual? On occasion. Would Epstein have you rub his nipples? Yes. Would he masturbate during the massages? Yes. Would he use sex toys and vibrators on you? Yes. Would he leave the sex toys or vibrators out after the massage, or would he clean them? Would he clean up after himself? This is weird. He did not ever clean up. Oh man! Oh my god! Do you believe that your experience during the years you were with Giuffre and Maxwell damaged you? It affected me. Damaged is a strong word. It affected my future relationships with men. Did you observe Nadia Markinskova? That sounds Russian, huh? Slavic-born pilot, flight instructor. Okay, who's this? She's known for a co-conspirator and finance of Jeffrey Epstein. She was born in 86. Oh, she's not that old. Okay. She became known on social media as Gulfstream Girl until Gulfstream filed a lawsuit against her for trademark. Oh my gosh. Which then they settled out, and then she changed her name to Global Girl. Okay. Interesting. So this is she still active? Global Girl. No, not that I could easily find. I don't know how you still could be, but anyway. All right. So let's write this down. So Nadia, Gulfstream Girl on social, was a pilot and co-conspirator, born in 86. Got it. Okay. Let's see here. She was present. Do you recall Maxwell being present? Yes. She was one of the girls that was around. Don't recall. In Palm Beach. Epstein's home. Yes, where you first met. She was a little rough around the edges. I could see the progression of her being groomed a little. They got her braces. Wait. Is this about Nadia? She was one of the girls, because there's some redacting here. Do you know the individual by name? Yes. Hold on. Do you recall Nadia being present? I believe she was present. Do you recall Maxwell being present? Yes. Do you recall an individual by the name of blank? Yes. And who is she? She is one of the girls. Okay, so this is a redacted, we'll just call her Jane 1. Okay? She was one of the girls that was around. Was Jane around both Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell? I don't recall. Do you recall when you first met Jane in Palm Beach at Jeffrey's home? Yes. And what do you recall about Jane 1 when you met her? She was a little rough around the edges. I could see the progression of her being groomed. Ugh. They got her braces. She had terrible posture. And with a lot of massages, she learned to stand up straight. So I saw her become a more confident person. Do you recall how old she was? I assumed she was 18, but I did not know her age. We're going to take a break off the record, and then they'll come back. Okay. Odd time to take a break, but okay. When you were either in Palm Beach or another location, did you observe any females either topless or naked by the pool? Yes. Mostly skinny dipping. Do you know who the individuals were? The Booker and Maxwell. Anybody else? Yes, but I don't recall whom. On more occasions, yes. At least 3 times. Okay. This was early 2006 or late 2005. So people would have been older at that point. Do you recall what you told the police? Similar to this, they were asking me a lot of questions that I answered. Let's see here. Okay, let's try to get some... Let's bounce around a little more. Let's go back to Clinton. Okay, did Maxwell ever tell you that she had flown Bill Clinton in her helicopter? Objection. I don't recall her saying that. Did you ever meet the senator? I might have. The prime minister from Israel? No. Okay, this person didn't meet a lot of people. Jean, Luke, Brunel. We've talked about him. He mysteriously died in prison. Well, waiting his trial, so I guess jail. Okay, so here's some funding for climate change initiatives from the Clinton Foundation. I want some more... Let's see some more quotes here. Bill Clinton. The depositions are really interesting. Boy, Clinton's mentioned a lot in here. 73 times. Clinton likes them young. We saw that. Joanna testified. Clinton likes them young. Yeah, this is like a summary here. Naked for 25 to 45% of the massages. Oh, this is interesting. You kind of get like a little breakdown of some of the juicy stuff. Joanna testified she was paid more than the normal, the $200. We talked about the slave thing. I believed her. This is a reference to Maxwell. Okay. Governor Bill Richardson, we saw that. Okay. Let me try to get some other items here because I've got a little list that I wanted to go through of names that came up. So the next one I wanted to look up was Dershowitz. This is the former Harvard law professor dude who also was a pretty prominent criminal law professor or a criminal lawyer. So Dershowitz. Okay. What do we have here? Did you ever have sex with Alan Dershowitz? Witness. Absolutely not. I do remember who he is. Dershowitz saying nothing happened. Liar. She was recruited to give massages and have sex with people such as Dershowitz and Andrew. Okay, so who's in this? This is page 288 in the depots. This looks like it's probably Joanna's depot. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, this is Joanna's depot. Okay, so Joanna's depot, which goes on for very, very long time. Here we go. And who's the she they're talking about? So let's go up. So you met with Virginia and an investigator at the same time. Yes. And they were what? Talking about you and Jeffrey in what context? Basically, they were trying to find people that would help get her story out. Because this is when Dershowitz was saying nothing happened and was calling Virginia a liar. God, I'm assuming Virginia a liar here. And what did you understand her story to be? Did she tell you? Her story was that she was recruited to give massages, sexual massages, and have sex with people like Prince Andrew and Dershowitz. Okay. Very interesting. No Kimmel yet in these documents. That's true. Did you tell them anything during your meeting about being recruited to give sex? Can you rephrase? Yes. That wasn't a very good question. Basically, I believed her. Never spoke to me directly about what was going on. Read the police report to learn about what happened. Fine, that's boring. Believed her side of the story. And did she tell you what side of the story that was? Dershowitz comes up again. Just that she wasn't a liar. You know, wait. And did she tell you what her side of the story was? You know, just that she wasn't a liar. That, you know, she was there to have sex with men that Giuffre wanted her to sleep with. And remember, Virginia's the young one. Virginia could have been 16, 17 when she started working here. Did she tell you in the meeting who she had sex with? No. Did she name any famous people? Only Dershowitz came up. Did you two talk about the incident in New York with the puppet? Oh, we covered that earlier. That was bizarre. With the photo where Joanna's breast was grabbed? Let's see. I formed my opinion based on my experience in the house. What experience did you have in the house? To help you form your opinion that what Virginia is saying is true. You know, Giuffre being open with me about what other girls did for him, and that I was not one of those girls. Whoa. So that's almost kind of like, it sounds like Giuffre was kind of comparing, like, you know, I'm just imagining, but something like, you know, Giuffre used to do this, or Virginia does this for me. Why don't you do this for me? Right? Like, I'm just guessing. Okay. He was always trying to recruit me in a way that I could be one of them and travel with him and live a life of luxury if only I did this, X, whatever it might be. So after 5 years of learning what was happening, I can only look back knowing. I only knew Virginia for a very short time. Looking back, I can make assumptions about what was required of her. Did she tell you how old she was? She didn't. Did she tell you how long she had worked with Giuffre? No. Have you read all these things that have been attributed to her in the press? Many of them. I don't know I've read all of them, but I've read some. In this meeting with Virginia and the investigator, you said Maxwell did not come up. Not that I know of. Do you know the name of the investigator? Okay. Let's see here. You said you read some of Virginia's statements. Okay. Did she tell you she was writing a book? No. Did she tell you she was trying to get a book deal? No. I mean, that would be an interesting book. Did she speak with John Connolly? Who's this? Yes. When did you speak with John Connolly? He was first calling me around the time everything was coming out in 2006. John Connolly. American politician. I don't know if this is the right one. Oh, FBI guy. Is it? I don't know if this is the right guy. John Connolly. Am I spell this right? Connolly with an E. So not an A, because then you get somebody else. Epstein. It's a journalist. Journalist who investigated Epstein. Frickin' dead. Oh my God. They're all dead. They all just die. Okay. Journalist investigating Epstein. Also now dead at 78. Cop turned scribe. Oh, interesting. Was a cop. Filthy Rich, the shocking true story of Giuffre Epstein, the billionaire sex scandal, which was turned into a Netflix series. Wow. Connolly told the Post of his findings of Epstein over the years. Like all good grifters, he always had ways of moving people in directions where they shouldn't go. Wow. Okay. When did you speak with Connolly? Called me around 2006 as things were coming out. Quoted me saying things I didn't say. Was it published somewhere on the internet? He put words in my mouth. Well, that's not good. Have you spoken to him lately? No. I did not return his call. Mostly about how I felt about certain things. Do you know that she has told the truth? As far as I know, she has. It's about Virginia. Okay, let's see if we can get a little more on this Dershowitz. No, there's not much here more. What is this? MySpace? What is this? Palm Beach Police Department Incident Report? From 2006. Oh, this is interesting. What do we got here? Oh, this is a long one. What the heck? The whole giant freaking police report here. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Okay. In October of 2005, I assisted detective whatever in the execution of a search warrant at 358 El Brio Way, Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. Let's check that out. Why don't we? So, here we go. Looks, okay. So, we have a drive. Oh, was it demolished? No way. Property under surveillance. No trespassing. Kind of looks like a cool spot, but whatever was here don't look like it here anymore. There it is. Yeah. See, in the satellite, it's here. There's a whole home here. So I don't know if this is a new home that was built after. That looks pretty new. Yeah, that's got to be new. So somebody came in there, bought the lot, demoed it, built some bitchin' new fortress here. Oh, looks really cool. I'm assuming... okay. We can go into history a different time on that house. But anyway, so let's look at this search warrant. Upon the announcement of the search warrant, males were there. They were identified. Detective Dix and I were assigned to assist in the search of the main house, the cabana, and the servants' quarters. We started in the garage. 4 vehicles. Mercedes registered to Jeffrey Epstein. 4th was a Harley Davidson registered to Jeffrey Epstein. A towel closet and pantry located off the kitchen were searched. Phone message booklet. Computer. Locked gun locker. Combination was entered. And the safe was opened. Okay. 2 massage tables were located in the closet with a photo of a nude female from the waist up. I searched 2 bedrooms and their adjoining bathrooms, which were located on the 2nd floor. In the northeast bedroom, I found adult sex toys called twin torpedoes. Soap made in the shape of a penis and vagina were also found in the upstairs bedrooms. This is a police report. I searched the pool cabana located on the south side of the pool. Photos were taken from the wall. Assisted with a search. Okay, what is this? This is somebody else's police report now. Investigation. I explained that I would be interested in conducting an interview with his client as well as other employees that are employed within the house. Left the business card for her to call back. Fine. This is some kind of investigation report here. Massage table was already out near the sauna and shower area in the master bedroom. Epstein entered the room wearing only a towel and introduced himself as Jeff. She recalled she and somebody else removed their clothing down to their panties. Jeffrey Epstein lay on the stomach area. They provided a massage to the legs and feet area. I asked if they had any formal massage training. No. She was topless. Panties she wore were the boys' shorts lace panties. Continued the massage. 10 minutes. What? Okay. So this is all some form of police report setting something up. Epstein laid there naked and requested that so-and-so rub his chest area. Epstein began the M word, and she rubbed his chest as he would pull down her boy short panties, and he produced a large white vibrator with a large head. She stated it was within the drawer in the master bedroom. He rubbed the vibrator on her area. Okay, continued. What? God, this is just bizarre to read. Epstein... Why is this in here? This is all in a police report narrative. The investigation continues. Epstein finished and removed himself from the table. Okay. Got dressed. Epstein came into the kitchen and provided $200 and paid $200 for providing the massage. She replied she was called, but it was for work. Investigation, blah, Sarah. She stated that she was called by Sarah. That's the booker. Okay, so this is a police report. The investigation continues. Made telephone contact with somebody at the home. Let's see here. Worked means giving massages. No formal training. Been in the house 4 or 5 times. What is this? Okay, she accompanied Robson with, and there was a 14-year-old victim. And each time the girls were taken over, they were previously told that they would have to provide a massage, possibly naked. And it was told that should Epstein require to do anything extra they were not comfortable with, to just tell him and he would stop. $200 for each girl she brought over to massage Jeffrey Epstein. When I asked which girl appeared to be younger, she replied the victim, as she stated she was 15 years old at the time at most. She looked really young. Further stated each time she went to the house, she sat in the kitchen and waited for Robson until the massage was over. Further stated that the cook would make lunch or a snack while they waited. Okay. Left my business card. Okay, this is more police reporting here. Based on the investigation she had encounters with in the past, during the sworn taped statement, she stated she had met Epstein approximately 2 years ago. There's that $200 arrangement again. Sarah was the booker. And there's another one. We haven't heard this name before, Adriana. Sarah brought her upstairs and she observed several photographs of naked females throughout the house. Epstein came into the room wearing only a towel and laid on the table. Stated he picked out the oils he wanted her to use and requested she remove her clothing to provide the massage. Okay. So he wanted the girls to take their clothes off. She returned several times after that. Each time she returned, more things happened. She stated that Epstein would walk into the master bedroom wearing only a towel. He would do things as she provided a massage. Someone stated she was unsure if he finished because it was under the towel. Additionally, she never looked below his waist. Okay, that does say below, but I'm pretty sure they mean to say below. It's just a very odd misspelling. She claimed Epstein would convince her to remove her clothes. She eventually removed her clothes and stayed in her thong panties. On occasion, Epstein would use a massage vibrator, which she described as white with, okay, yeah. Every time she provided massage, he would do his thing. Okay, got it. She had no formal training, $200 each time. The investigation continues. On November 8, 2005, brought to the interview room. Let's see here. Money providing massages to Epstein. This is yet another interview. Boy, this is a lot, huh? She agreed and was taken to the house by so-and-so and introduced to Sarah and Epstein, and brought her upstairs to the master bedroom where the massage table was prepared and the proper oils were taken out. Okay. This is, again, very typical, the $200. She stated she had gone a total of 15 times to his residence to provide a massage, and things escalated from just providing massage. Epstein began touching her on the butt and grabbed her closer to him as he did his thing. Epstein also grabbed her breasts and fondled her breasts with his hands as she provided the massage. He offered extra money to have vaginal intercourse. She stated this all occurred on the massage table. Oh, man. That's a heavily used massage table. Epstein's massage table. I hope they burned that thing. Epstein penetrated her, began having intercourse. Epstein removed himself. She received $350 for her massage. No formal training. Epstein introduced his assistant, Nada, into the massage. Nada was brought into the room to provide a massage. Epstein had them kiss and fondle each other as they provided the massage to Epstein. Epstein watched and did his thing. Okay. She provided the names, unknown last name. A lot of these names are still blacked out. Interview is concluded. You take place in the file. Okay, fine. Now we're in Boynton Beach, Florida, trying to interview somebody else. Former houseman of Epstein. No one was home. Business card was left. Fine. Travel to meet the dean of students. Let's see. Sarah, Epstein's assistant, had called on the cell phone and informed her that the rental was extended for her. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Mr. Rodriguez stated that he would rather speak in private. Made telephone contact with Juan Alisi. Okay, let's get... This is just, like, logistics here. Alright. Okay, here's an interview with another girl. She was told of an ongoing investigation around Epstein. Brought her into the house, and she was introduced to a girl named Sarah. Again, Sarah's the booker. She arranges all this stuff. Yep, very typical. Pick the oils. She rubbed his calves and back area. Upon the end of the massage, Epstein removed himself from the massage table and paid her $300. She'd only been to the house about 5 or 6 times. Boy, so it's just like a long list of women coming for Epstein. These are all in the police report. She knew that he was, what he was doing while she was providing a massage. She started providing the massage. Epstein asked her to remove her clothing, her pants, shirt, bra. She was paid $300 for her services. $422. Okay, that's fine. Let's see here. Another search warrant here. Pantry room. Okay, now we're doing a search warrant through various different rooms here. Let's see. Search the room. DVDs. These items were taken. Search the car. No, nothing interesting in that search. Okay, we met with a 17-year-old juvenile who was not in school this day due to a cold from which she was suffering. Needed to speak with her regarding Epstein. Prior to speaking with her, I explained that because of the fact that she is a minor, I needed to speak with her parents before speaking with her. She telephoned her father on his cell phone and explained to him that the detective and I were there to speak with her. I spoke with Mr. Whatever on the phone and informed him I needed to speak with his daughter in reference to an ongoing investigation. He advised he had no problem. Okay, got it. All right, so now we're on a minor here. This is a 17-year-old. During a sworn taped statement, she stated she met Jeffrey Epstein over a year ago. She was 16 years old and was approached by Whatever, who informed her that she could make money providing massages to Epstein for $200. Informed her that she would have to provide the massages topless. Made the arrangements with Epstein, and assistants took her to the house. Entered through the glass door that led to the kitchen, took her upstairs to the master bedroom. She recalled the bedroom had a large pink couch, sauna, and matching shower. Epstein entered the room wearing only a towel. The girls would then remove their clothing, remaining only in their underwear. Further stated that Epstein would lay on his chest, oils. 40 minutes into the massage, Epstein turned over on his back and requested so-and-so wait downstairs in the kitchen area. Epstein instructed someone to finish the massage. As so-and-so got dressed, started rubbing his chest, left the room, Epstein began doing his thing until he finished. When asked if he had removed the towel, she stated he turned the towel around so that the opening would allow him to expose himself. After he cleaned himself off with the towel, he instructed so-and-so the massage was done and to get dressed and to meet him downstairs. She was paid $200 for providing the massage. Second time she went to the house, same thing. So far, this is a little redundant, but it is interesting because now we're talking about the younger girl. Epstein then turned around to his back, started rubbing his chest, same thing. Turned on a vibrator. Okay. She described the vibrator. Okay, $200 again. She advised she had no formal training. Was asked if Epstein knew her real age. Stated he knew as he asked her questions about herself in high school. He was aware she attended. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, no. So, I mean, it's obvious that Epstein knew these girls were underage. But here's an example where the girl is just like, oh, yeah, he asked me about high school and knew that she was underage. Oh, man. These police reports are really interesting. Okay, so... So, here's somebody else had been to Epstein's house over 50 times. Assistants Nadia or Nada to have intercourse with him. Utilize... What? She stated... Wait, what? When I asked her what happened at the house, so-and-so stated everything happened. It all began with massages. Each time she went, more things happened. She would massage Epstein and he would do his thing. She stated things escalated from there. She provided oral and he did that for her. She stated he would also use a vibrator on her. Then he introduced his assistant, Nadia or Nada, to have intercourse with. Nada or Nadia would utilize a strap-on synthetic thing to have intercourse with her. She was told to complete or to masturbate herself as Epstein and Nada had sexual intercourse. All this was done at Epstein's direction. Man, this is just like uncomfortable to read. Showed a photo lineup in which Nada was placed in position 6. She reviewed the 6 photographs and immediately identified her as the person. Yep. Wow, photo lineups and everything here. Man. Okay. Kind of gives you some color into what was going on over at the house. All right, so this is a lot in the police reports here. We've gone through a lot of these already, but this goes on for a while. Let's look at some more names. So, I guess Michael Jackson shows up in here somewhere. Does he? Yep. All right. There is a Michael Jackson match here. On page 305 in the document that is posted on ehack.com, if you want to follow along with it. I'm going to put the edited version of these documents on ehack after we're done with the stream. So this would be Joanna's deposition again. Did you ever meet anyone famous when you were with Giuffre? I met Michael Jackson. Oh, really? And where was that? At his house in Palm Beach. That's literally the house from the police reports. That's the police report house we've been reading about. Do you remember anyone else? David Copperfield. No one else. Okay. All right. So that's another one that's in here. Let's see what else. So we've got Clinton, Dershowitz, Andrew, Stephen Hawking, Michael Jackson, Brunel, Copperfield. We don't have Kimmel. There's no Kimmel mention in here. And there are a few nominal Trump mentions. One we talked about earlier with Atlantic City. Let's go through these again since we're a little bit more familiar with these documents now. Okay. 900 pages takes so long to... Okay, this was the Trump Hotel one, or Trump Casino one in Atlantic City. Here we go. We'll call up Trump and we'll go. This is page 244. As we're flying, Jeffrey said, why don't you go sit in the cockpit and check out the landing? So we're sitting there and the pilots told me to go back and tell him we can't land in New York and we're going to have to land in Atlantic City. Jeffrey said, great, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to, I don't recall the name of the casino, but we'll go to the casino. We'll call up Trump. That's interesting. What? As I see somebody in the chat here. Kevin, read about Prime Minister. No, Jimmy Kimmel's not here. We'll go. Well, Donald Trump. No, did you ever massage Donald Trump? No. Let's do Prime. I'll just do a search for Prime Minister here. Okay. Prime Ministers. No. A well-known Prime Minister. What is this? Politicians. A well-known Prime Minister. This looks like it's a request for documents. Do you recall or remember meeting Prime Minister of Israel? No. No. We don't have anything on Prime Minister in here. Copperfield was interesting. We saw that. Okay, let's see what else we have. Kimmel we didn't get. There was nothing on him. So we've covered a lot already. I'm going to keep going here, but let's see here. So we have Hawking we saw in there. Major Epstein victim sent a bombshell. What is this? Oh, here we... Oh, okay. All right. So this is a text. Okay, so let's look at this. Hold on a sec. So this is somebody sent a message to Mario on Twitter. Let's pull it up. Breaking. Major Epstein victim just sent me a bombshell. Today's documents mentioned a well-known prime minister that Epstein trafficked underage girls to. The witness just gave a hint. Between us, though, I will hint... Well, hold on. There are pictures of it. Let's just look at it. I'm very grateful for the invitation, and I have a plethora of information about these names being slowly released over the next few weeks. I will be releasing a statement soon, but for obvious reasons, I must tread very carefully and navigate ways to speak out without being in the way of history unfolding before our eyes. Between us, though, I will hint at the PM who has captured the attention of the public. Camel is all I could say without anything. Camel. Can I read your statement above your message? Can I mention your name? Yes, but please keep in mind that the PM hint is very dangerous for me. Maybe leave that info between us for now. Oops. And here it is. Okay. Can you connect the dots, I'm assuming, on who this well-known prime minister is? Let's see what people are replying with in the comments. How do you know the witness is reliable? They are one of the most important witnesses in the case. Jimmy Camel equals Kimmel. Oh, boom, science. Benjamin, somebody here thinks Trudeau. I mean, this is just pure speculation. Arab leader, Saudi, UAE. Oh, yeah, these are just all, yeah, Saudi Arabia maybe. The Arabian camel, also known as whatever, prominent symbol of the country's heritage and culture. Arabian camel has a single hump. And the emoji depicts a two-humped Bactrian camel. Really? I don't see two... what? The Arabian camel is a single hump. And the emoji depicts a two-hump. I don't see two humps in that. I see one hump. Well, what do I know? I don't know camels. Yeah, I mean, whatever. This is all speculation right here. Okay, so we got more speculation on some of the more names that are going to be coming up. Let's see. So, what else? I think we pretty thoroughly covered it. There is a fake Jimmy Kimmel going around because I don't have that in here. Do we have Gates? Yeah, well, we have the Clinton Foundation. What about Gates? I'll let that search run. No. Gates does not come up in this. a lot of comments about y'all can erase Trump's name from the ballot, but you definitely aren't erasing Clinton's name from Epstein's list. That's like super trendy right now. Mossad agents were found in Epstein's residence. Mossad? Mossad. Let's see, where does that come up? Mossad agent. Oh, this is from, these are from the 3 mails that we were looking at when we were looking at this. It was from this. Somebody saying that these are Mossad agents. Mossad agents. Mossad, popularly known as Mossad, is the national intelligence agency of the state of Israel. And so how do I verify that those names are Mossad agents? Because that's just some claim on Twitter. Okay, so if I look up this first guy's name, Benasayek, okay, Epstein. This person's name is Januz. Januz served as Epstein's Palm Beach house manager. Okay, so I don't know how that's an agent. Januz house manager. Again, I'm going to put this whole PDF with all the annotations on ehack.com so it's easy for you. You can see without the annotations right now. Okay. I don't see anything on him being any more than a house manager. No other public social media presence. Okay, well that doesn't help. News. Partners in business, his house manager. Epstein's butler was Alfredo. But we have another one here. We have Daniel Estes. Daniel Estes. I can't find anything on him other than his name in here. And then Mark Zeff. Mark Zeff. Mark Zeff. New York decorator. Okay. Let's write that down quickly. Zeff equals New York decorator. So I don't see anything about these folks being, I mean, it's also being posted by a Twitter account that's called Defund Israel. So I don't see that. Okay, what else? Just kind of looking around. We saw Dubin, Bill Richardson, Jean-Luc Brunel. We talked about him. Brunel died of suicide. A lot of dead people. Bill Richardson's dead. So the journalist that was investigating Epstein is dead. Marsha Blackburn calling for the arrest of all Epstein associates now. A lot of Stephen Hawking memes floating around. Okay. Yeah, Dershowitz we looked at. We don't know about this Campbell thing. Hawkins we saw. Okay, let's take a peek. Let's see here. So what do we have in the exhibits? We have the email that we saw. That's Maxwell's email. We have motion to compel. These are snapshots of the massages, some quotes, which we've gone through a lot of these. Exhibit 4 is a depo. This is Maxwell's interview. All right, let's go to the bottom. So these are identities of individuals likely to have discoverable information. Maxwell, oh, this is a list of names. Kathy Alexander. Just see if we see any interesting names here. You got some attorneys in here. Here's a Mar-a-Lago reference. Laura Booth. Dates Sky Roberts began working at Mar-a-Lago. Okay, who's Sky Roberts? Yeah, we don't really know who that is. Well, clearly somebody who worked at Mar-a-Lago at one point. Sky. Okay, here we go. She has a connection to Virginia, it looks like. Virginia was one of the likely underage girls. Sky Roberts claims Maxwell must face questions. Blistering interview. Sky Roberts repeated his daughter Virginia's claims that Maxwell groomed the teenager to have sex with Epstein. That his daughter... Oh, Sky is Virginia's dad. Okay. That's right, because we read that. That's Sky is Virginia's dad who helped Virginia get the job at Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Now we understand. Salt Lake City, lawyer in here. Just gonna look. There's Dershowitz. Plaintiff's false statements. Okay. Looking for more names. Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of lawyers. I wonder if this is Virginia's mom? Robert. Sorry, it's Robert. So it's not that, because who is this? Because Sky is the dad that we're aware of. So I don't know who this is. Okay. Harrison, Hazel, Henderson, Jaffe. This is quite a long list. Mullen. And these are, there's Bill Richardson. We talked about him. He was that the governor who was involved with getting massages. Looks like we're almost at the end of the list. Pinellas County Jail. Courtney Wild. All right. Here we go. News articles from the internet. Well, I mean, I guess they're just throwing some things in here. A bunch of quotes from the internet. Denies sex charges. Alleged sex slave. Found not credible. All right. Let's actually see what else is in here. So, let's see. Virginia. Oh, these are responses to requests for production. So basically, you ask for something, and then you reply with this thing saying, oh, that's overly broad or burdensome. It's just a way of kind of blowing off answering these requests for discovery. There are no pictures released in this. What is this? This is Virginia. We spoke earlier. Wanted to thank you for your help. Okay. Virginia. Organizations currently work with victims of sex trafficking. I was wondering if you remember me from the Sydney consulate. I'm a victim in the investigation from the Epstein case. Virginia Roberts. To an FBI email here. How do they not, like, censor these people's phone numbers? Yeah, none of them are. From Robert. Long time no talk. BS non-prosecution agreement thrown out. Thanks for your time. Okay, a lot of emails here back and forth. FOIA from the FBI. Some emails back and forth. Looks like trying to get information here. Miscellaneous exhibits. That's not too fun. All right, what do we have here? This one I think I've seen quite a few shots from. This looks like a deposition. Actually, doesn't look too long. This is a deposition of... videotape deposition of Virginia. Okay, so we've seen Joanna and Maxwell. Now we get the deposition of Virginia. Ah, this is the juicy one. Okay. I want to see the deposition here of Virginia because she was potentially the underage one. Okay, let's get started. They swear her in. Can you state your full name? Who lives with you? Are you married? Yes. Ah, okay, she's now married to Robert. Got it. That's where Robert comes in. That's why there's another dude involved. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. For example, if I asked you the question, were you sexually trafficked to foreign presidents? Do you understand what the question means? Yes. What does it mean? Okay, this is just baseline stuff. What's your profession? Housewife? Do you understand? Okay, this is all baseline. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into... It looks like the governor of New Mexico in his 40s. Foreign president you've met a lot of very powerful people, was introduced to them, going back through photos and be able to realize who they are. Have you only met one foreign president? To my knowledge, yes. Okay. Which ones? I don't know. Let's get some more info here. I want to know. I want some more details. Included your sworn statement. You may answer the question. Do you have any reason to believe your prior statements were false? No. I'm going to show you the exhibit. Misidentification of the document. This is all, a lot of this just sounds procedural here. Boring, boring, boring. Do you recognize document number 1? It looks like this has to do with the lawyers. Different question. Okay, so more procedural crap. Okay. It's a rough backstory of the years that I was abused by Maxwell and Giuffre. A document that they show her. Rough backstory. Okay. Wasn't aware of my dates, so some confusion on dates. Okay. So, a document in which you swore you were 15 years old when you met Maxwell is untrue, correct? It's not that it's an untrue statement, it was a mistake. So I wasn't intentionally trying to say something that wasn't true. It's to the best of my knowledge that I thought it was 1999. So in 1999, she would have been 15 or 16. And when I got my records from Mar-a-Lago, I was able to find out that it was actually 2000. And this was entered before I found out the actual dates. So that would then leave her at 16, 17. Okay. She was 16, 17 in 2000. Because she was born in 83. 83. There we go. Okay. So, yeah. In approximately 1999, when I was 15 years old, I met Maxwell. Wow. At 15, she met Maxwell. Ooh. I know now that it was 2000. I was 16. Oh, but now they changed it to 16, met Maxwell. Okay, fine. It was an honest mistake. Whatever. So they're beating her up with the exact year. That's fine. Approximately when did you learn about the dates you worked at Mar-a-Lago? 2015. That's fine. Okay. Okay, looking at more documents. Still going back to that silly mistake about being 15 or 16. Declaration of her. Okay, doing some quick skimming here to move along as they get through some of the procedural nonsense. Manuscript I was writing. Off the top of your head, do you recall mistakes in the 140-page document? Anything you understand from memory about Maxwell? Let me narrow the question. This is all about a manuscript. I'm the plaintiff. She's the plaintiff. She's the one complaining about the abuse. Okay. So her getting deposed is a way of her trying to, like, the other folks trying to discredit her, right? So Maxwell's attorney is trying to discredit Virginia. So I believe the first job I held was in 2000 and it was at Mar-a-Lago. And the first job you held was written from Taco Bell? I don't know. I just remember coming in and out and helping. Okay. Trying to discredit her. Is there any other place you wore a uniform and got a check from in the years 96 to 2000? I did work at Publix as a bag girl, but that was only for a couple weeks. You know, you could work at Publix at 14 as a bag girl or boy. Did you ever work at Taco Bell? My ex-boyfriend worked there. His name was Michael. Fine. I don't know that we're going to get too much out of here. Your job you believe you had prior to Mar-a-Lago, Publix. Fine. It's a little bit of... My dad was a maintenance manager and supervisor. I don't know what you call it. But he worked in the maintenance department, mostly at the tennis courts, air conditioning, and setting up functions. This is at Mar-a-Lago. Because her dad got her the job here. She got her GED. Royal Palm Beach High. Summer job was at Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Clean up after the ladies in the locker room. This is all kind of getting started probably on how she met Maxwell. Okay. So they're trying to discredit on the date as to when she met. Because if she was 18, that's what they're trying to basically discredit, is how old she actually was at the time. Okay. This is not too useful right now. Getting the job. All trying to establish getting the job. Let's try to move forward a little bit here, a little faster. Okay. So I have permission to work in Australia here. How many hours did you work full-time in Australia? Okay. Some bar and restaurant. Boy, this is just a lot of history here. I was sex trafficked for a couple years, and I did not have the experience to apply for jobs to provide for my family. At the time during 2001, I was with Giuffre and Maxwell being trafficked. It's very interesting. Locker room attendant. That's where we heard earlier that she probably met Maxwell. What presents did you get? Oh, interesting. What do we got over here? So, I remember spending a birthday with them on Jeffrey Epstein's island called Little St. Jeff's. I wouldn't say it was a party. It was just Maxwell, me, and Jeffrey. I believed Emery Taylor was there. I got some presents from them. What presents did you get? I got a whole bunch of makeup, little boxes of eyeshadows and lipsticks and makeups all together. Giuffre gave me a bracelet and an earring. I believe they were diamonds. They could have been knockoffs, but they appeared to be real. I remember makeup and jewelry. I don't remember much else. Okay. So gifts from them. I was born in 83. That would make me turning 17 that year in 2000. I was 16 when I met them. Describe your 17th birthday party. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the gifts. Okay, so I read it slightly out of order there. That's fine. He told you had booked you tickets to massage training in Thailand sometime before your actual birthday. Did I get that right? Yes. Giuffre and Maxwell and I had gone scuba, not scuba diving, not with big tanks, but snorkeling. Wearing wetsuits, take our flippers off. Okay. On the island in the Caribbean. Okay. Do you remember any other birthdays you spent with Giuffre? But honestly, I can't remember what I did for my 18th. Okay, this is all trying to, again, discredit her since she's the young one. At least one of them. Back to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, there's not too much in this one. Sweet 16. Do you remember? No. Boy, a lot of just nonsense back and forth here. This is your apartment, Palm Beach. Do you own a vehicle? Apartment you rented? Because remember, they're defending Maxwell, so they're setting up whatever they can. Okay. How did it come to pass that you were no longer working at Mar-a-Lago? I was approached by Maxwell. How long had you been working there until you were approached? 2 to 3 weeks. Where in the spa were you approached? Just outside the locker room, sitting where the other girl that works there usually sits. She was away from the desk. I was reading a book on massage therapy. We've seen that before, so that story we've heard a few times. Okay, so when do we get to the juicy stuff? I don't know that we do in her depot. We'll find out shortly. Talking about cars, conversations, age. Did you tell her your age? No. See, trying to, again, discredit Virginia or any wrongdoing by Maxwell. Kitchen, John, conversations, where do you live? Okay. Let's see here. Back to Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I don't remember any scars, tattoos. Okay, this is interesting. When you got home, you said you made a beeline for the bathroom. Correct. What did you do in the bathroom? I showered. Okay. My mom came into the bathroom. That's fine. And I told her I'd rather not talk about it. Did you have any conversations with your brother? No, he's 5 years younger. That's fine. I can tell you. Okay. Can you describe any physical features of Maxwell? I could tell you she had very large natural breasts. I could tell you that her pubic hair was dark brown, nearly black. I don't remember any specific birthmarks or moles I could point out, scars or tattoos. Okay. Did you introduce yourself as Virginia or Jenna? Jenna. Interesting. Let's keep going. There's that Emma Taylor and Emmy Taylor again. My name's Virginia. Nice to meet you. She introduced herself as Emmy. Maxwell's personal assistant. Okay. What's this? Okay. With whom did Maxwell have sex in your presence? Wait, is it your contention that Maxwell had sex with underage girls virtually every day when I was around her, correct? Yes. Wow. There it is. Wow. Is it your contention that Maxwell had sex with underage girls virtually every day when I was around her, correct? Yes. All right. With whom did Maxwell have sex in your presence? Well, there's a lot of girls that were involved. We weren't on a first-name basis with each other. I wouldn't be able to give you a list of names. It was continuous. Name one girl that Maxwell had sex with in your presence. Emmy Taylor. Emmy Taylor. Emmy Taylor. Yeah, and Sarah was the booker. Emmy's now 40. Well, she's in her 40s now. Huh. Okay. Sarah Kellen. She's married. And then a name they're hiding here. There were a lot of girls. I honestly can't remember their names. So there are 3 females that you observed Maxwell have sex with. Those are some of the 3 names that I know very well. Like I said, there were a lot more. Okay. Do you know the names of any other girl that you personally observed Maxwell have sex with? No. Her name is at the tip of my tongue. Her last name is... And then it's hidden out. I don't remember her first name off the top of my head. I normally could remember it. There's just a blur of so many girls. It's really hard for me to remember. And you have to understand we weren't introduced to each other on a first name basis half the time. A lot of these girls would come and go and you'd never see them again. But those 4 I've given you are 100%. Did you observe Maxwell forcing any of the 4 girls to have sexual contact with her? I don't believe any of the girls were truly willing participants doing it out of their own wanting. I believe they were all there for one purpose, and that was to keep Giuffre and Maxwell happy to do our jobs, which was giving them erotic massages and keeping them pleased sexually. Do you know what the word force means? Physical force? Talking about force here. What threats did Maxwell state to you? Just reminders of the prominent people she knows personally. When did Maxwell remind you about the prominent people on a constant basis? I mean, there was no just one time she said it. It was like a reminder, you know? And Giuffre did a lot more than she did, but she definitely made it aware that we shouldn't cross boundaries with them. Ooh, threatening. I need you to be very clear. Use the word they. I asked you about Maxwell. What did Maxwell would say? Or what would Maxwell say? Let's go up here. You wouldn't want to piss us off. You wouldn't want to piss me and Giuffre off. I mean, that's one way of saying it. I don't remember the exact words. Very early on. I believe it was during my training period. I do believe that I've been put in very dangerous situations, being a runaway and having a lot of bad things happen to me. Okay. Okay, so you met those people at what age? I don't remember what age. I was young. It was before I met Giuffre. It's hard for me to tell how many girls were under the age of 18. My instruction from them was the younger, the better. Wow. It's kind of what we saw about the characterization of Clinton as well. Do I know any underage girls that Maxwell slept with? Can you please read back the question? Hold on. Let's see. You interrupted it. Please answer the question. Okay. Do you know the age of any girl that you saw have sexual contact with Maxwell? Well, Sarah was older. Emmy was a few years older. Describe for me any other girl other than the ones you've named who you say you saw have sexual contact with. There are many. I don't know where you want me to start. There were blondes, there were brunettes, there were redheads. They were all beautiful girls, and I would say ages range from 15 to 21. Some of them looked really young. Some of them I wouldn't say 21 looks old or anything like that, but it's hard to gauge a person's age without asking. What physical locations? And in what physical locations did you see Maxwell have sexual contact with any girl? The U.S. Virgin Islands, Jeffrey's Island, in the cabanas, in Jeffrey's room. Asking about the color of the room. The island was a place where orgies were a constant thing that took place. And again, it's impossible to know how many. And like I said, it wasn't just Jeffrey's room. It was outside, you know, it was, and then she gets cut off. When you were outside, did you see Maxwell have sexual contact with a female? I would say a female. I wouldn't define them as a woman. A woman is someone who is older. But yes, outside by the pool, down by the beach. They're little. I wouldn't call it a hut. The little cabanas, probably. What sexual contact did you observe? Well, there were quite a few girls. So if you don't understand, please let me know. Girl on girl action. So there was a lot of, what's the word for it? Licking vaginas and breasts. Fingers being used. She was involved with that. I remember specifically I had to go down. Do you know what I mean by go down? I had to go down on Maxwell. Giuffre was there as well. And remember, she was, when she started working for them, she was 16 apparently. And this was by the pool. Can you name any of the girls? Can you describe them physically? Beautiful, tall, some were blonde, some were sandy brown, some had foreign tongue. Some were Russian, Czechoslovakian, could have been. Well, the list goes on. Maxwell, Emmy Taylor participated in what you would call a foursome in the living room of the main house. Cabana. How many times did you visit the island? Lots of times. More than 10. I would say more than 20. I don't think more than 50. So between 20 and 50. Wow. What other locations did you engage in sexual contact with Maxwell? Everywhere. New York, Palm Beach, Jeffrey's mansion, France, England. France 3 times. Passport, yes. Yes. When you were in France those times, how many of those 3 times did you have sexual contact with Maxwell? Every time. In what locations? We stayed at a fancy hotel in Paris with a view of the Champs-Élysées. Yep. Champs-Élysées. Okay. Before she picked up the redhead. And was it just Maxwell and you or anyone else? Giuffre and Emmy, so another foursome. And then they went to the south of France, different trip. And you, let's see here. We all stayed in the same room. There were adjoining rooms. She walked up to this French girl to show me how easy it was for her to procure girls. Oh my gosh, here we go. I wasn't very good at it. And you know, it was part of my training was to bring in other girls. So she walked up to her. Within 5 minutes, she had her number. And that girl came over later that night to the hotel and serviced Giuffre. Wow. I didn't see Maxwell with her. I just know she told me what happened and Giuffre told me what happened. So you were not there. I did not see it. When did you have sexual contact with Maxwell? Before she picked up the redhead. Right. Okay. Let's see. When did you first tell your parents that you would be traveling with Jeffrey Epstein? I'm not too sure I told them. New York. Details. Okay. Boring. What is this? All right. Want to talk to you about where you were living in the late 90s. Somewhere in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, this just kind of goes back to a little bit of her history. Run away from home at age 11. Or ran away from home. Wow. Sharon Churcher. That's the reporter. Now we get away from the orgy stuff. Did you physically go into an office in New York? Jeffrey's office. Passport talk over here. Talking about renting an apartment. Okay, here we go. Is it your contention that Maxwell sexually trafficked you to famous people? Yes. People politically connected and financially connected? Yes. To whom? You have to understand that Jeffrey and Maxwell are joined at the hip, so they both trafficked me. Maxwell brought me in for the purpose of being trafficked. Jeffrey was just part of it as she was. She was just a part of it as he was. They trafficked me to many people. There is people I could name, and then there are people that are just a blur. So much happening. Please name a person that Maxwell directed you to have sex with. Prince Andrew. Wow. Okay, who else? As a whole, they both trafficked me to people. It was under both of their direction, so it was not easy to say Maxwell. When I say they, I mean both of them. Well, I need you to say a time when Maxwell directed you to have sex with another person. Object to the form. Glenn Dubbin. He's that hedge fund guy. It was part of the training. They directed me. I'm going to tell you that they directed me. It was part of my training. They both told me, you've got tickets to go here. This is who you're meeting, and this is what you're doing. This sounds like the Jason Bourne training. It's like, this is your assignment. This is your training. Your training's over. You know, like the first Bourne. Except it's, you know, sex trafficking and bad. Maxwell directed you to go have sex with blank. I'm trying to tell you that they both did. They both directed me. When did Maxwell direct you to go have sex? I don't know the time. I don't know. You know, I could tell you the place. I don't know the time. What words did Maxwell use in talking to you and asking you to have sex? We're sending you to a gentleman. We want you to show him a good time. We want you to do exactly what you would do for Jeffrey to him. Keep him happy. Wow. Could have been in Palm Beach. Could have been in New York. I would think I was 17. But you're not sure. Well, it was the beginning, like after my training. Glenn and someone else were the first two people I was sent out to. Right, that's what I'm saying. If you want me to categorically tell you when it happened and why I think I was 17, because those were the first two people I was sent to. I can't picture if it was New York or Palm Beach. I don't remember. I remember the tone she used, the type of words she used. I can't remember word for word. And so what time was this? Some censored words here in relation to Prince Andrew. 6 months what? Before Prince Andrew? I don't know. I think I met Prince Andrew in 2001. And Stephen Kaufman and Glenn Dubin were the first people I was sent to after my training. So Prince Andrew 2001, she was born in 83. So 2001 could have been 18. But let me see what her birthday is. Let's see what part. August. Uh, 1983. Okay. Does Dershowitz fit in the group of people? I can't tell you. And Stephen Kaufman was one of the first I was sent to. Who's this guy? Here's someone we haven't looked at yet. Let's see here. Kaufman. Yeah, we don't know who this is. There's not much info on this. Someone thought it may have been a politician. Yeah, we don't have a lot of info on this one. All right, anyway. Between Glenn and Steven, the first time I was with Dershowitz was in New York, so I wasn't actually sent there. It happened at one of Jeffrey's residences. Okay. Okay, name the other politically connected and financially powerful people. They instructed me to go to George Mitchell, Jean-Luc Brunel, Bill Richardson. So that's the former governor of New Mexico. Jean-Luc was the model agency director who died from suicide in jail in France. And this George Mitchell is the former senator, I think. George Mitchell. Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, former. Wow. Really? He still alive. Let's see here. Yep. He's got a pretty colorful history here. He was actually a U.S. Special Envoy for Middle East Peace with Barack Obama. So let's write this down. George Mitchell was Senate Majority Leader from 89 to 95. Later worked for, let's write this down, and later worked for Obama. And a guy who owns a large hotel chain. I can't remember which hotel it was. Marvin Minsky was there. Another foreign president, can't remember his name. He was Spanish. Whole bunch of them.
You can't do that in a con.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Siri. They call massages sex. They call modeling sex. Their entire lives revolved around sex. Trying to think about more names. Looks like they take a break. Okay, what do we have here? I'm giving you the names of people Maxwell told me to have sexual relationships with. Okay. Maxwell told me from her mouth these things. Jeffrey told me from his mouth to do these things. Let's see. So you're saying Maxwell directed you to have sex with Jeffrey Epstein, correct? Maxwell directed you to have sex with Dublin, yes. What words did she use? Yeah, now we're getting a little picky here. Here's another redacted name. Bill Richardson. Don't know the dates, but yes. Prince Andrew, yes. Where did you have sex with the owner of the large hotel chain in France? In the cabana thing? U.S. Virgin Islands for Marvin Minsky. I was sent to Jean-Luc Brunel and many places to have sex with him. Boy, a lot of deliveries. All right, let's see here. Sharon Churcher, this is all notes. Now we get into notes. Reporters, accuracy of statements. Some of this we've seen before. What is this? And so you don't recall Maxwell telling Prince Andrew in your presence that you were only 16, right? Correct, I don't remember. Did Maxwell tell Prince Andrew that you were 16? No, I think they had played the guessing game and I was 17. Okay, weird. When did you tell your parents about being sexually trafficked? 2010. Have you ever told anybody you were a sex slave? Okay, this is just a little bit more around sort of the after effects. Okay. I think we got a pretty good set here. I think what we should do is like a whole summary of all of this. We're going for like 2 hours on this. So I think a summary of this would be pretty valuable. Let's try to maybe do like a 5 or 10 minute summary because there's a lot. Just go through the good old the best parts, so to speak. So, gosh, this is so long, though. It's 900 pages long. We've hit a lot of different pages here. All right. So, let's see here. You know what I can do? I could just look. Ooh, that's a cool feature. How many annotated pages do I have? Like 50. Well, that's not that bad. Okay. We can just go through the annotated pages. And then do a little summary. Let's do that. Done, close. All right, give me 1 second here. We'll get this situated, and then we can do a little summary. This is a lot of information. Okay. Why is this like this? Annotated. There we go. Oh boy. I don't know that there's an easy way to... There's got to be a little bit of an easier way for me to do this summary. Hold on. Let me try this. I'm just going to grab... I'm going to select all the annotated pages. There we go. Okay, I can select all of them. And then we're just going to copy out the annotated pages. I'm at 95. So let's take these all out. And I don't want to extract them. Couldn't prepare pages for extract. Okay, copy. All right, let me see if I can paste them over, and then we could just do the annotededs. That would be much better. That'll go a lot faster. Paste. There we go. Let's go. Okay, I did it. Hell yeah. On the iPad. Okay. Very good. All right. Now we can do our summary. And let me just get one thing here. Okay, ready for the summary? Let's do this. Let's hit record on this. Wow, we just went through 2 hours and 20 minutes of like 900 pages of documents trying to figure out every juicy line in the Epstein documents that were just released. They're over 940 pages. In this video, I'm just going to give you the overview of the specific annotated sections and then some of the details within those. So the first overview that we're going to look at is a deposition of a girl named Joanna. There's Joanna, who is a little older than 18, roughly around the time she was working for Epstein and Maxwell. And then there's Virginia. Virginia is one of the girls who was believed to be younger, and she tells us a lot of stories about how it's very common for girls anywhere between 15 to 21 to have to commit sexual acts, go down on Maxwell and Epstein and other famous people, whether they were Prince Andrew, lawyers, hedge fund folks, politicians like senators. Virginia and Joanna make these allegations in lawsuits against Maxwell. Giuffre's dead because he, quote unquote, killed himself, so therefore the lawsuits are against Maxwell, who's presently in jail. So let's start going through some of the annotated documents, and we're just going to look for the juicy parts here. So the first time Joanna met Giuffre, he showed up in a bathrobe. And this ends up becoming pretty common in terms of the MO here of Epstein. She took the job because she was supposed to just answer phone calls and take messages. Then she met this girl, Emmy Taylor, in the bathroom with Giuffre, and that's basically where she learned how to give massages. Massages is basically how you started leading these girls into providing sexual acts for Giuffre Epstein and other folks. In fact, just to jump a little bit out of order, we can go to police reports where we get a lot of color, and it gets a little redundant, but I'll give you some of the color right away. So there are search warrants here, there are police reports here, and there in the search warrants, there are nude photos that are discovered, there are adult sex toys that are discovered, including some sex toys that are called twin torpedoes, and soap made in the shape of a male part and female part. Also found in the upstairs bedroom. These items go into multiple descriptions of basically at the Palm Beach residence of Giuffre Epstein. Individuals, specifically mostly girls, would enter the master bathroom, and that's where there was a large massage table. Giuffre Epstein would lie down on his stomach area for a massage. And generally, girls were asked, for example here, to be topless and in their panties. Giuffre Epstein would pleasure himself while girls were instructed to rub his chest or do things for him. He would, at times, use sexual toys on the females involved to essentially return the pleasure. And then he would pay somewhere around $200 to $300, depending on the acts that they perform. Sarah was known as a booker, so she regularly would book appointments for people that needed their massages. Again, these massages were sexual work. As you can see here, the work was to give massages, which we know that work, including one case here where one of the victims was deemed to be 14 years old, was to provide a massage, possibly naked, and if they did that, they would receive $200. At the time, apparently, she took the job, she was 15 years old, and somebody here is reporting she looked really, really young. But anyway, Sarah brought her upstairs and observed several photographs of naked females throughout the house, requested that she remove her clothing, and every time she came to show up to work more and more things were requested. For example, Epstein would walk into the master bedroom bathroom area wearing only his towel. He would pleasure himself as she provided a massage. Redacted name stated she was unsure if he finished as he was pleasuring himself under a towel. Additionally, she never looked below his waist. She claimed Epstein would convince her to remove her clothing. She eventually removed her clothing and stayed in her thong. On occasion, Epstein would use the vibrator on her, which he described as white in color with a large head. Every time she provided a massage, he would pleasure himself. And then she was given $200 for each girl that she would bring to Epstein as well. And then, of course, she was paid for the service or the massage that she would provide. This was very common. Sarah and Epstein, sometimes this would turn into foursomes, threesomes, whatever. Very commonly, girls were brought dozens of times. Here's an example, 15 times to residences where they were essentially asked to provide sexual services. For example, here, Epstein began, one girl who kept repeatedly coming ended up being touched by Epstein on her butt and grabbed. As Epstein pleasured himself, he would grab her breasts, fondled her, and would pay extra money to end up having vaginal intercourse. She stated all of this occurred on the massage table. $200 was generally what was paid for a massage. $350 was what was paid for sexual intercourse. And these are from some of the police reports. Now, those are some of the police reports. I want to go through Virginia's statements a little bit more because you can see how this sort of evolves in the story of her. So this goes back to this goes back to Joanna. Joanna goes to the job to make phone calls or to answer the phone and take messages. Then she meets Emmy Taylor where she gets basically trained to give massages. And they would massage her in addition to training her how to give massages, so that way she could know what it would feel like. Emmy was referred to as a sex slave by Maxwell, and the only references to Trump in this really had to do with Epstein potentially giving Trump a call to go to his Atlantic City casino. Okay, looking for some more here. There were, Joanna basically had to do work in New York, Florida, France, around the world. I came up and saw Virginia, Giuffre, and Prince Andrew and Maxwell in the room. Here's the story of where they first meet Prince Andrew. And apparently Prince Andrew, there was some kind of Prince Andrew puppet or doll or something like that. And they all thought it would be funny to take a picture. So she sat on Prince Andrew's lap and he grabbed her breast, actually grabbed Virginia's breast, which was the potentially underage girl. That in her deposition, she testifies that she was approximately 16 to 17 at the time of this Prince Andrew relationship. So we'll see more about this, but we do have a picture of Virginia as well here. Let's go to the Virginia. We've got... Let's get it here quickly. Virginia, I don't have it handy at the moment. Okay, so we'll get that in a moment. Give me 1 sec. I want to pull it up. So we have that to catch everybody up. Yeah, here it is. Got it. Here you could see Virginia Roberts, which is whom Joanna's talking about, with Prince Andrew and Maxwell in the background. Going on with Joanna's testimony here, there was another girl which I had never met, never seen or seen before. She seemed young to me. We had comments like that. Sarah Kellen was the scheduler, born in 1980, so around 2001 would have been about 21. And this is where you get a lot of the 15 to 21 age range starting. You get more of that specificity from Virginia later. Did you ever observe David Copperfield to be a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. Questioned me if I was getting paid. I heard him call for someone. Can we find girls for someone in Hawaii? Jeffrey Epstein would take me to Victoria's Secret. He would come in the fitting room with me. He joked that at one point another girl called Jeffrey Epstein dad. It's pretty weird. Who prepositioned you to have babies? This is Jeffrey Epstein wanted Joanna to have babies with him. She felt that she was living in secret and that Bill Clinton was a friend of Epstein, that he knew, that she knew there were dealings with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. There was also reference here to, he said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. This is from Joanna's deposition. How would you provide the massages? Naked 25 to 50% of the time. Would Epstein have you rub his nipples? Yes. Would he pleasure himself during the massages? Yes. Did he use sex toys or vibrators on you? Yes. Would he leave the sex toys or clean them up after? He never cleaned up. The actual quote is, he did not ever clean up. Now, one of the girls, Nadia, was nicknamed Gulfstream Girl on social media. She was a pilot and co-conspirator. I think she was actually born in 86, not 96. Let's say 86. There we go. Correct that. I'm going to have this actual document with all the annotations, by the way, on ehack.com. You're welcome to get them there. That's where I post all my research. Do you know the individual by name? Now, some of the names are still redacted from the drop here, so we fill in with Jane 1. I could see the progression of this unnamed girl, because she's probably a minor, being groomed a little bit, or being groomed a little. They got her braces, she had terrible posture, and with a lot of massages, she learned how to stand up straight. So I just saw her become a more confident person. I assumed she was 18, but I did not know her age. Did you ever observe any females topless or naked by the pool? Yes, mostly skinny dipping, including Sarah Kellen and Maxwell. How often? 3 times. This is Joanna. Let's get some more annotations here. Jeffrey said, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to that casino. That was that reference. That's where that Trump quote was. So you met with Virginia and an investigator at the same time, basically trying to help get Virginia's story out because Virginia's the younger girl. Dershowitz called her a liar. She was recruited to give massages, sexual massages, and have sex with people like Dershowitz, the political, he's an attorney, criminal attorney, and involved in politics as well as Prince Andrew. But I knew none of that at the time, says Joanna. I knew she wasn't a liar. Jeffrey wanted to sleep with her. She was there to have sex with men that Jeffrey wanted her to sleep with. There we go. Let's get that phrasing right. I formed my opinion based on my experience in the house. Jeffrey was very open with me about what the other girls did for him, and I was not one of those girls. He was always trying to recruit me in a way that I could live and travel with them and live a life of luxury if only I did this, XYZ, which we'll see from Virginia what some of those thises were like. We get a little bit of complaining about journalists here. She says she met Michael Jackson at the Palm Beach at Jeffrey's house. That's where we were reading about the police reports, was that Palm Beach house. So Michael Jackson apparently was there. We talk a little bit about media reports here, police reports. Okay, let's get into Virginia's testimony now. Let's see here. Maxwell told you to give a massage to Glenn Dubin, correct? Told you to give a massage to Prince Andrew, correct? Bill Richardson, the former governor of New Mexico, correct? He was 51 there, but he's dead. Getting shipped to New Mexico to give a massage. I was flying everywhere with these people, including Jean-Luc Brunel. Brunel was found dead later in his jail cell in a La Santa prison after allegedly hanging himself. He had attempted suicide several times before his death. That's just from Google. This person led a modeling agency called Kareen Models with financing from Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly. I was sent to Jean-Luc many places to have sex with him. This deposition is put together in 2 different transcripts. The second transcript is a little bit more, well, let's just put it this way. Let me go to it. This is right here. This one gets interesting. So this asks a little bit about her background. This is Virginia. She talks about how she was 15 years old in 1999 when she met Maxwell. She met Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago for Donald Trump. Her father was a maintenance person working on air conditioners and tennis courts at Mar-a-Lago. And previously, she worked at Publix as a bag girl. And she took the summer job at the facility. Here's that comment where her father was the maintenance manager or supervisor at the time. And she describes meeting Maxwell in the just outside the locker room of the Mar-a-Lago facility. She says that Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell gave her gifts, including makeup and potentially diamonds, diamond earrings, and a bracelet for her 16th birthday. She was 16 at the time, 16 to 17 at the time. And then we start getting into some of the, this is where she was approached, just outside the locker room, sitting where the other girl usually sits. She was away from the desk. I was reading a book on massage therapy. That's when she was approached by Maxwell. And then as we scroll down, we start getting into the sexual relation part, where Virginia describes Maxwell as having very large natural breasts. I can tell you that her pubic hair was dark brown, nearly black. I don't remember any specific birthmarks or moles that I could point out that would be relevant. She introduced herself as Jenna, met Emmy Taylor, Maxwell's assistant. There were a lot of girls. There were so many girls, Virginia says. Is it your contention that Maxwell had sex with underage girls virtually every day when you were around her? Yes, there were a lot of girls involved. First name basis, a lot of these girls would come and go. We weren't introduced on a first name basis, though. That is difficult for me to pinpoint exactly. But this is where we get started with some of the allegations around what exactly happened. I don't believe that any of the girls involved were truly willing participants doing it out of their own wanting. I believe they were all there for one purpose, and that was to keep Jeffrey and Maxwell happy and to do our job, which was giving them erotic massages and keeping them sexually pleased. Just the reminder, they would constantly get reminders of the prominent people they knew, and that was sort of a way of having leverage over the girls because you didn't want to piss them off, specifically during their training. They were told these things. Many of the girls were under 18. My instruction from them was the younger, the better. There were blondes, there were brunettes, there were redheads. They were all beautiful girls. I would say ages ranged between 15 to 21. Some of them looked really young. Some of them, I wouldn't say 21 looks old or anything like that, but it's hard to gauge on the person's age without asking them. In what locations did Maxwell have sexual contact with any girl? U.S. Virgin Islands. Jeffrey's Island. Where? Jeffrey's Cabana. Down by the beach, in the little cabanas by the beach. Happened on many occasions. Did Maxwell, when you were outside, did you see Maxwell have sexual contact with a female? I would say a female, not a woman because of age. In general, in my mind, okay, this is one of the attorneys speaking. Sorry, let's jump over here. So, here we go. Well, there were quite a few girls. And it was, excuse me, if I'm saying this in an inexplicit way, but I don't know what else or how else to say it. So if you don't understand, please let me know. Girl-on-girl action. What sexual contact did you observed Maxwell have with females by the pool? At an orgy on the U.S. Virgin Islands? Girl-on-girl action. So there was a lot of, what's the word for it? Licking vaginas and breasts. Fingers being used. She was involved with that. I remember specifically I had to go down. Do you know what I mean by go down? I had to go down on Maxwell. Jeffrey was there as well. This is the person who alleges they were under 18 when this all happened. Can you describe the other girls physically? Beautiful, tall, blonde, some were sandy brown, some had foreign tongue, Russian, Czechoslovakian, whatever. Traveled to the island between 20 to 50 times. Basically provided services and had sexual contact with Maxwell everywhere. New York, Palm Beach, France, England, lots of times. They talked about how easy it was to pick up girls, like a redhead they picked up in Paris, and how easy it was to walk up to these French girls to pick them up. Worked at Jeffrey's office. Can you tell us about the politically connected people that you had sexual contact with? It was a blur, but can you name one person? Yes, Prince Andrew anyone else, Glenn Dubin, who is a hedge fund manager, they both directed me to do it. It was part of my training. They both told me, you've got tickets to go here. This is who you're meeting, and this is what you're doing. We're sending you to a gentleman. We want you to show them a good time. We want you to do exactly what you would do for Giuffre for him. Keep him happy. I think I was 17. After my training, Glenn Dubin and a redacted were the first two people I was sent out to. I think I was 17. 6 months before what? Before Prince Andrew. I don't know. I think I met Prince Andrew in 21. Virginia was born in 83, so she could have been 18, but she was born in August of 1983. Like I said, the first people I was sent out to after my training, so I don't know. Here's some other names. Stephen Kaufman was one. Alan Dershowitz was another. Glenn and Steven. First time I was with Alan Dershowitz was in New York, so I wasn't actually sent to him. It happened at one of Giuffre's residences. They instructed me to go to George Mitchell. George Mitchell was the Senate Majority Leader from 89 to 95, later worked for Obama. Jean-Luc Brunel, he was that modeling agency guy. Bill Richardson, former governor of New Mexico. Their entire lives revolved around sex. They called massages sex. They call modeling sex. Are you saying Maxwell directed you to have sex with Epstein? Yes. Dubin? Yes. Prince Andrew? Yes. Richardson? Yes. Where did you have sex with them? In cabanas. Many places. Virgin Islands. Okay. Then we have the Hawking comment, which was very interesting, that Stephen Hawking was mentioned in here. Stephen Hawking was mentioned right here. You can issue any reward. This is from an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Maxwell. You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends, acquaintances, family that come forward and prove her allegations are false. The strongest is the Clinton dinner and the new version in the Virgin Islands that Stephen Hawking participated in an underage orgy. Those are the allegations, right? So they're trying to... Jeffrey Epstein is basically sending an email to Maxwell going, hey, like, can you basically find people who can discredit Virginia, alleging that there was a Clinton dinner and a Stephen Hawking's underage orgy? That was one. Then we have the Clinton mention about young girls, which was... Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. That was in the actual testimony right here. We saw that. He said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to the girls. So we've jumped around a little bit in some of these annotateds, but then we also have a little bit of annotations from Maxwell's deposition, but I don't know. I don't remember that we got much on Maxwell's depo. I personally had massages from Joanna. So remember, Joanna was the first girl we talked about, where she was trained, she was hired as a phone operator, and then she was trained, and now Maxwell is admitting that she's had, that she came for telephone calls. I believe at some point she became a masseuse, and then she had massages from Joanna, which, remember, massages mean sex in this world. And her attorney really limits what she says. So there's a lot of deflecting in Maxwell's testimony or deposition, so not too much useful here. But definitely some of the big names that we saw were Richardson, Senator Mitchell, Prince Andrew, Dershowitz, Dubin, Michael Jackson being involved out here, Clinton liking them young, Stephen Hawking, Brunel, the model agency guy who committed suicide in jail. David Copperfield was in here. He's the magician. And have you ever met David Copperfield? Yes. And that's on this section right here. Someone called me from the house and said I would be there if I wanted to have dinner. I arrived, I could meet him. So when I arrived, he wasn't there yet, and I waited. There was another girl, which I had never met, never seen before. She seemed young to me. Asked her what school she went to. Basically, it sounded like it was a high school. Did you observe David Copperfield to be a friend of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. Questioned me if I was aware the girls were getting paid. No specifics beyond that. There was also, let me see if, there was one mention of the Pope right here on page 270 of the whole set. I remember there being photos everywhere, and one that sticks out in my memory was a photo of Maxwell with the Pope. It would not surprise me if there were naked photos around. I just didn't retain them in my memory. So regarding the Pope, it was really just, to be clear, not a topless photo of Maxwell and the Pope, just that Maxwell had taken a photo with the Pope. But that came up a little bit in social media as well. Then there are some rumors circulating on social media that there are potentially some princes or individuals from Saudi Arabia involved, that there are more names that are going to be coming out, like prime minister names from some potentially countries that could be associated with a camel emoji. And there was also talk about a former prime minister from Israel. And that's it. That's basically what we have in the documents. So this is the whole process of putting all this together here has been about almost 3 hours here. But we've got, I think, a good summary here. And I will have all of these documents so you could see the short annotated version and then the full set up on ehack.com. So go to ehack.com if you want to get that. That is a website that I put all my research on. Well, a lot of my research. I've got to get a little bit better about updating more of it on there. But it's just an archive of all of our research that we put up there. ehack.com, it's free. It's going to be free forever, so feel free to use it. Politics, finance, whatever. We try to put it up there, the stuff that we think is interesting and relevant. So thank you so much for hanging out and watching. It's been good. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Stock Market Open live stream if you want to join that. Thanks. Bye.